Today we have a guest here. She's coming from the United States of America and she'll be staying with us for 2 days. Her specialty is entrepreneurship and accounting. So I thought maybe to include her a little bit into our lecture. So before we go, before we continue what we were doing last time, I thought maybe it was a good idea to invite our guest to this class, and that we could, that she could give us some, I would say, top things which are now maybe open up in the States. So this could be interesting, I guess. So I guess we would spend like, I don't know, maybe an hour or so regarding this. So she'll maybe have half an hour introduction, putting out some ideas, some things which are now talking out there in the States, and then we could have some discussion. And then we'll continue with our subjects, okay? And if you have some questions regarding accounting courses, she's also a specialist in that. And she'll introduce herself further, beyond or about that, what I said already. Okay?
Thank you so much. Good morning to you all. It's a pleasure to be here. I understand that you're all from all over the world, different countries. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's great. Perhaps I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I have been living in the United States 2/3 of my life. In America, people often introduce themselves, like they say, I am Italian American, I am, I don't know, Greek American, I am this and that. Now, I tell about myself, I say I am Persian American. So, I assume you know where is Persia and who is Persian, right? Anybody who doesn't know? That's okay.
It's now Iran, right?
That's right. I was born and raised in Tehran, which is capital of Iran, and I was very young, like your age, maybe younger, that I went to United States for education. And actually, when I introduce myself to my students, I tell them that I came here to go to school, but I liked the school so much that I'm still in the school, which is the truth, because, of course, in different capacity, but I decided that that's really what I want to do, be in higher education and teach, because I really think that there are two best things in the world, two most wonderful jobs in the world. And one is to be an entrepreneur, to own your own business, and the other one, yes, teach what? Teach what? Teach business. And when I say business, all aspects of business. I mean, accounting, finance, entrepreneurship, everything, teaching business. So, and I really mean that. It's really, really good to, there's nothing better than really owning your own business, and instead of getting paycheck from somebody else, you will be the one that you provide paycheck to others. I mean, can you imagine how rewarding that is? I mean, it's really, really wonderful. So, anyway, I finished my education there. My last degree, my doctorate, my PhD, is in accounting and management. Actually, mostly management, and then I wrote my dissertation in accounting. My MBA was in accounting. And then I wrote my dissertation back again in budgeting, which is managerial accounting. So I loved all the areas of business, so it was very difficult to actually choose which area I want to go, but that's where I did go. I teach at Marymount University, which is a medium-sized university in the United States. We have about 4,000 students, and there are both graduate and undergraduate. About 2/3 undergraduate, 1/3 graduate, but we do have not only MBA program, but many other master's degree, and as well as about 3 PhDs. Unfortunately, none of them in business, but we do have we offer 3 PhDs in the university. So that's about me a little bit and about the university. And I will be actually bringing my class, entrepreneurship, next spring here to visit your college, and looking forward to that. And one of the purpose of this trip was actually to explore the possibilities that, I understand, for example, one of the companies, Slovenian companies, it won the most innovative award in Europe, the company. You probably know which one, right? No.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. I have it in my notes. But anyway, there are a lot of good things here that I think our students can also learn from. So I'm very pleased to be here and meet your professor, and I'll be here tomorrow as well. What I prepared for you was, I thought that maybe you would be interested to know about what makes American entrepreneurship so special. What is it about American, so to speak, entrepreneurialism? And that's what I have. But of course, I understand this is mostly a finance course. So, you know, I mean, I'll be happy to discuss as much as I know. I don't claim to be expert in the field of finance, but you know, if you have some questions in general or about United States that I can answer, I'll be more than happy to do that. So, would you like to start with the discussion first, or you want me to make my presentation? I am also very much for management.
The presentation would be a good start, so that we guys can then.
Okay, very good. I was just going to say that I'm also very much for management by participation. That's why I'm asking you. I don't believe to management only by consultation. There's difference between management by consultation and management by participation. Does anybody know the difference? Okay, management by consultation is that, okay, I'm the manager, I consult with you. I ask your opinion as much as I want, as much as you want to give me your opinion. But guess what? I may or may not follow up. I may or may not have respect for your opinion. That's management by consultation. Management by participation, on the other hand, is that I ask you to be part of decision-making process. And that's what I truly believe. That's why, that's one of the reasons of success in America. That many people, if not all of the people, but many people, they really believe to management by participation. Of course, there are many big names in that area, such as Peter Drucker. I don't know if you've heard that name or not, or many other scholars that they advocate management by participation rather than just consultation. It's much, much better than being an autocrat. This is it. I tell you and you do it. You know, that's not going to work. Certainly not in 21st century. Maybe it did work in 19th, 18th, 17th century, but not in our time. So anyway, it looks like that you want me to go ahead with what I have about entrepreneurship. Is that correct? Yeah. All right, so let's do it. I didn't realize I had so many things here. Is that too much light there? Can you see that? Is that good?
Can you shut down the light?
Is that better?
Maybe that's better.
That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I have prepared first. Let's see. Oh. Okay. First of all, the picture I chose here for you is really what is autonomy of an entrepreneur. If I would ask you what is the best definition of entrepreneur, probably you would tell me that, or what is the meaning of entrepreneur, you probably would tell me entrepreneur is a person who is a risk taker. Isn't that what you would tell me? That is true. And that really, that part is the fire, I think. And entrepreneurship is a person that, of course, must have a knowledge. You know, you can't start a business or, you know, get involved in something serious if you don't have some knowledge. And then you have to have passion, you know, you really have to have interest to do it. And then fire. Fire here, I interpret fire really the risk taking. You know, if you're not willing to take risk, then you cannot really be a successful entrepreneur. Okay? So what is it about America and American entrepreneurship that despite all of its current economic issues, it still remains the beacon of entrepreneurialism in America? What is it that it, make it that way? Almost by any measure, U.S. entrepreneurial economy leads the world. What is the reason for that? Okay. Between 1996 and 2004, which is the formal data available, U.S. created an average of 550,000 small business every month. And many of these small businesses rapidly grew to be very big. Even in recent time that we had problem, in 2011, the number of new businesses establishment was 536,445. In fact, do you know that when the economy is bad, when there is a recession, that is the time that there are actually more businesses start? Did you know that? What's the reason for that? Because people don't have jobs, right? So, and they cannot find jobs, so they often, and they have been thinking of possibly starting their own business. They said, what better time than now? And they do that. And many of them are successful. Of course, many of them are not, but many of them are. One of the world's largest companies, Walmart, was founded in 1962. And it was not a public company for quite some time. Almost 10 years after it started, it didn't become public. In other words, it was a small company. And a lot of multi-million-dollar companies today, such as Google and Facebook, that we have today barely existed 10, 12 years ago. They were not even here 10, 12 years ago. So in other words, you start small and then, you grow big. Those who thought that modern corporation is going to take over and then there will not be any sign of a small businesses, obviously they were proven wrong. As the growth of big business turned into a stagnation, in other words, because of economic problem, or basically you just get so big and you start having your own problem, a number of innovators, and especially in the field of computer and finance, they launched a wave of entrepreneurship and a wave of new businesses and all of that. So why American entrepreneurship is a success story? Here are some reasons. First of all, look at this picture. This picture is one of the reasons. What do you see in this picture? Any one of them look like each other? They don't, right? This is how I'm from. Any one of you have been in America yet? And you will be, those of you who haven't. Okay? America is made of diverse people, different people from all over the world. When I was very young, actually, when I was in elementary school and middle school in Iran, and I had my older uncle who was a physician and a number of cousins in America, I remember that the older members of the family, including my own father, who did not like, for whatever reason, who did not like America, he actually liked Russia more than America, he would call America the thief of brains. The thief of brains, think about that. And that, in some certain extent, is still true. People that they go to America, they're not just anybody. They're people that they really, they're risk taker for number one. Okay, they really are, because unlike what people think, when you go to America, money is not in the street. You cannot just pick up gold from the street. You have to work very hard. You really have to work hard. I use myself as an example often for my students. When I went to US to go to college, despite my father's will, he really didn't want me to go. I did go, and I just was there, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. Of course, I had an uncle that I went there for a few weeks. In third week or fourth week, I already had a job. I barely speak proper English, but I had already a job. I worked very hard. My father was very upset to send me the check oh, okay, you know, you need money. Guess what? I sent the check back. I said, Dad, thank you. This is a land of opportunity. I can manage. I can make it. I know it's difficult, you know, for you because we were from intellectual family, but not very rich family. And it was difficult for him to send the money. So I sent the check back. And I worked hard. I worked very, very hard. I worked very, very hard. And I'm not saying that I am a rich person in America, but I think what you can say is that I'm one of those who, so to speak, quote unquote, I made it. Why? Because of hard work. Why? Because I was, you know, I worked 3 or 4 jobs and I went to school part-time, full-time, however that I could. And I financed my whole education, which is expensive, especially higher education is expensive in America. You know, but I did that. So a lot of people from all over the world, they come there. And this is a picture. I mean, you know, it's not even a complete picture. But from everywhere, and they all work hard, and they put everything they have to become successful. America has found transition to a more entrepreneurial economy easier than its competition with other countries because entrepreneurialism is so deeply rooted in its history. As I said, people that they came here, even the original people that they came to US, they were basically, they were risk takers, and they were willing to go and sacrifice the old way of living, the old certainties, the old traditions for new opportunities. So that by itself was a main reason there. American children in the school from young age, they learn about Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, you know, entrepreneurs such as Andrew Carnegie and Henry Ford are celebrated in monuments all over the country. People like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, which you all know who they are, have all the upside of those people such as Carnegie and Ford without the downside of what they had. What I mean by that, the downside was at that time, of course, it was the sweatshop and, you know, taking, for the lack of better phrase, taking advantage of workers. Whereas today, you know, that is not the case any longer. Today is just the opposite. It's no sweatshop any longer. There is, well, of course you can argue that there are still few sweatshops in New York, believe me. But in general, there are not. And instead, there are these big entrepreneurs have become big philanthropists, such as, you know, Bill Gates again, that you know, even the richest, one of the richest people in the country, in the world. What's his name?
Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett.
Thank you. Warren Buffett actually gave the administration of his giving, of his money that he wanted to give for, you know, good reasons, for goodwill, gave it to Bill Gates Foundation to run for him. So they have the advantage, you know, over the people before them. Somebody observed, he said, when I was in college, guys usually pretended they were in a band. Now they pretend that they are in a startup. In other words, you know, like everybody wants to start a business. They want to get involved in a business. They have unusual freedom, this is American companies, in hiring and firing people. If you're not, you know, doing your job well, then, you know, you can't really be there. And their fate still lies in their own hands, people, you know. And so you can really, it's up to you that how you want to do. They're comfortable with the risk-taking, that it is at the heart of entrepreneurship. And the rewards for success can be really big. Unfortunately, punishment exists there too, but then again, unlike some other countries, that if you are bankrupt, that is really a black thing in your life. In America, it's actually not. You know, okay, I lost, you know, I start another company. This didn't work, I'm going to start another one. No big deal. Now, these 4 things that I have here are really America's structural advantages in terms of entrepreneurship and business. mature venture capital industry. That's probably of more interest to your class. In other words, the money, where the money comes from, the capital. Close relationship between universities and industries, immigration, and venturesome consumers. So let's see, let's talk about each one of them for a couple of minutes. US has the most mature venture capital industry. Their first venture fund, the American Research and Development Corporation, was founded as late as, or as early, I should say, as 1946. Today, the industry has unrivaled mixture of resources, enterprise, and customers. In 2005, companies that were once backed by venture capitalists, they accounted for nearly 17% of America's GDP and 9% of private sector employment. Money comes from everywhere. Well, this is maybe a good place to actually talk finance a little bit. Where entrepreneurs get their money, where money comes from. Now I want a little bit your participation.
Investors.
Investors, very good. So there are people that they want to put their money. Now, do they want to be involved themselves or they don't want to be involved themselves?
They don't want to know.
Some of them they don't, many of them they don't. So, some other names
Bank
for them?
loans also.
I'm sorry,
I thought
banks, did you say?
bank loans.
Okay.
Not the investors, as in person, but bank loans also.
What are the three major sources of financing? Finance class, you better know this. One would be equity financing, right? One would be debt financing. The other one would be gift. What do we mean by equity financing? That's what you just said, investors.
Yeah.
They put their money, their own money, equity, right? Equity. Now here, is there,
Shareholding companies equity, right?
is there, do we have,
If you own some shares of certain company, we say it's equity, right?
right. We don't have,
No.
that's okay, I guess I can.
We should have that.
Because I think this is a good place to talk finance and accounting a little bit. Don't want to be too far from your area. So are you guys full-time students here, all of you?
No students, so exchange students.
Oh, exchange students. So you're here only for one semester?
Yeah.
One semester. And how many courses you take? 5 courses? Okay. So you're all coming from your own universities, different places, mostly in Europe, right? Okay. And for one semester, that's good. Do you like the experience so far? Okay. And the 5 courses are, one is finance and, no? Oh, okay. And what are the other 4 courses? Marketing, business law, English. All in one semester, right?
Yeah.
5, yeah, that's not bad. That's normal law. You're talking about, you know, the okay, while we're reading that, what I was going to put here for you is something that every finance and accounting student, every business student should never forget. One formula. It's one formula. What is that formula? If I tell you A equals L plus OE, would that ring a bell? Thank you so much, appreciate that. You haven't taken your accounting course yet? You haven't taken accounting course and you are in finance, that's interesting. That would be hard.
Oh, well, these are the students in this exchange, you know.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, that would be kind of
So I
hard.
know exactly, we had just one lecture last time.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is second lecture.
Oh, okay,
So I don't know them yet so well, really.
okay, no problem, no
Yeah.
problem.
So I
Okay.
don't know their background also, you know.
Okay,
details, so.
okay, no problem.
You get some financial stuff you didn't.
This is,
You had some financial subject, didn't you? Yeah.
Okay, this is the most formula in accounting, in finance, any business. A equal L plus OE. A is assets, L is liabilities, OE is your owner's equity. So of course A is everything that you have, everything a business has in possession that they are using now or sometime in the future. L is their liability, their debt. Their debt. By the way, debt, even though it's written like this, English is a very funny language. B does not get pronounced. And I'm always shocked by my American-born students that they say debt. I say, no, it's not debt, it's debt. B does not get pronounced. So liability is your debt. And OE, you tell me, depending on this, what is OE? If A equal L plus OE, what would be OE? Anybody can tell me? Okay, I put number here, 10 million, 3 million, 7 million.
Owner's equity is the capital, actually.
Right, it's A minus L, isn't it?
Oh.
Okay, so that is your equity. That's your owner's equity. Okay, what do you? Another name for that, by the way, is net asset or net worth. What is really your net worth? You may come and I may see you living in a $10 million mansion and driving a Ferrari and this and that. What is your true net worth? If you have $10 million, but then, let's make it this way now. 9 million is debt. So your OE will be only 1 million, isn't it? So you cannot always really judge by appearance. By the way, that's sometimes happens, that's a problem with a lot of major corporations too. They just grow, and borrow, okay? And then they don't manage very well, and then, you know, what happens? Like the recent crisis that we have had in America and the rest of the world, you know? That's another thing, you know. I don't remember the name of the philosopher, but one philosopher, European philosopher as a matter of fact, he said America sneezes, the rest of the world catch cold. So, you know, they have problem with finances, and unfortunately it goes all over the world. So that is equity. That's really, US has the most mature venture capital industry. That's what I mean by that, by equity, okay? So equity financing, but since we are in finance, let's just talk a couple more minutes before I move on to the other one. So that is, that's one source of financing, equity. And the other source, in other words, is what you really have, your original, your saving, right? And you want to invest as an investor. Maybe you don't want to be part of the business, you can be a silent partner, just invest, okay? There are all kinds of names for that, you probably haven't got to that. Angel investors and so on and so forth, you haven't studied those yet. We have angel investors and all kinds of various types of people that they provide OE. And then of course debt, you can always borrow from the bank and other sources. All right, and the third one, which is also very important, is gift. And gift could be then in the form of cash or in the form of, you know, barter and all kinds of things. So those are always, you know, any kind of financing cannot be outside of these three major sources. Equity financing, debt financing, or gifts. Basically that's what it is. All right, so that's number one. And number two, and then we come back to this if you want after I finish, if you have time.
It's okay, just go on.
Okay. Then the second one was universities, that the relationship between universities and industries. They offer, the universities offer technology offices, business incubators, even venture capital they offer. Stanford University, for example, gained around $200 million stock when Google went public. Some of you know that because I know a lot of you are interested in companies such as Google and Facebook and stuff, so you know information about those companies. They have created a monopoly-like game to teach their professors, actually, how to become entrepreneurs. By the way, entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship is not only just business entrepreneurship. Do you know that there are other kinds of entrepreneurship too? Right, corporate entrepreneur, public entrepreneur, and social entrepreneur. We talk about that later if you want. Okay. The third one is immigration policy. Historically, fairly open. 52% of Silicon Valley startups were funded by immigrants. However, this has been changing. It's been changing a lot, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And I'll talk about all the good stuff, but there is some bad stuff too. And venturesome consumers. People just want things. They just want things. They are usually willing to try new products all over. You know, I mean, you have your Apple version 4, you can wait until version 5 comes. You have version 5, you can wait until version 6 comes, and so on and so forth. Apple sold 500,000 iPhones in its first weekend, just one weekend, 500,000. In fact, I remember that weekend, I was going to a movie theater, and it happened that an Apple store was close to that movie theater. And at first I didn't realize that was an Apple store. I said, what is this line? It was around 2 blocks. And what was this line for the Apple store? People wanted to buy because it was just coming out. So that helps, you know, hey, if you have customers, if you have people that they buy your stuff, you're going to produce it. You know, you're going to make money, so you're going to do it. Okay, so those are all the good things. What about the threats? The legal system can be burdensome, even destructive. Especially lately when it comes to immigration and people that they really want to stay or they really want to come, but they cannot, they don't have the opportunity. Now, recently, you probably have heard that in the news too. Recently, there are even some American-born people that they are born in America, but they are born from father and mother, from parents that they were not, so to speak, legal immigrants, right? Legal immigrant means people that they have green card, right? They're facing difficulty, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. One of the reasons I think that, of course, Obama had many other reasons that he won, but one of the reasons that he won was because he understands that, and he wants to make sure that these people that, you know, I mean, they're just as American as anybody else. They were even born in that country, and they have problems because they're not, so to speak, legal resident. More than 1 million people are waiting in line to be granted legal status as permanent residents. Yet there are caps of 10,000 visas available for Africans of any country. Only 85,000 visas a year are allocated to a skilled worker that the economy needs. So that is really a major problem. In fact, recently there are a number of scholarly papers that they, with a really scary title, such as America is chasing entrepreneurs. American entrepreneurship is in danger because immigrants are being, you know, are not being appreciated or are not being given visa and so on and so forth. So that is a really big. And remember, who made America? In fact, I always tell some of my country fellow people that, like, you know, they live in America for many years and they still, you know, they still think, oh, you know, you know, we're foreigners or whatever. I said, yeah, it's in your mind. Who is foreigner? Nobody is foreigners in America. Who is American? America is made of people from all over the world. If you feel foreigner in America after you've been living there for, even from the first day, let alone after you've been living there for a long time, then it is your own problem, it's in your own mind, okay? So it is, you know, it really is, you know who are the true American? Who is the real American?
Native American.
Thank you, Native Americans. Those are the only people that they really can call themselves American. The rest of the people in America are from all over the world. So anyway, but that is becoming a really major problem, and that's why I think they have to address that, otherwise they're going to lose a lot.